Hi, this is Jonathan with I Call It Attraction. I'm a dating and relationship expert specializing in helping you understand attraction. So today's topic is the red pill community. Now, what is the red pill community? And what does it mean to be red pill? Red pill awareness. Is that really a thing? Um, where do we get this from? How far back does this thing go? You know, I won't go into the history and background and details because, be honest, I never, I never looked into it like that. I just know that there's a community that's referred to as the Red Pill, and it's basically a play off of the movie The Matrix. If you guys, uh, if you guys watch, most people seen the movie The Matrix. It's not a something that people don't know about. Most people do know about. It's an older movie in the maybe mid to late 90s, and they had those movies, The Matrix, and so that's where that word came from. So you have this scene where, well, first off, they living in like this false kind of reality kind of thing where they're asleep. They're uh they're connected to this machine. Some kind of machine is connected to every person's brain, and they're in this artificial reality, and they believe that that's like the real world that they're living in, and all these things are happening, but it's really a false simulation created reality based off of the machine that's connected to their brain. So that's the matrix. They're living inside the matrix. It's a false reality. It's not the real current reality that we know. So that's what they're living in. It's a false perception. Now, there's one who comes out of that. He's Neo, and they call him the one because he wakes out of that sleep. He wakes out of that matrix, and he becomes what we would call woke, or what we would call enlightened. Where everybody else is in the dark, he's in the light. He sees what's going on, what's happening, and everybody else is just in the dark, and they don't got a clue. And this is how the movie goes. And at one point, the him and like his, I don't know, his teacher, I would say, uh Morpheus, who he at some point he reveals that, hey, you know I got this red pill and I got this blue pill. Which one you gonna choose? Because the blue pill means that you want to live in this false reality, and you just want to, you'd rather live there because it's more comfortable for you, and that's the scope of reality that you want to inherit. Okay. Or you can live in the real world that we know, and battle these demons with me, and let's take over, in the real world. And so the real reality, and really, capture what's going on, and not be a part of some twisted, sinister joke, right? So Neo chooses the red pill. So the red pill represents awareness. It represents being woken, being enlightened. It represents knowledge. It represents everything that's like from the dark to the light. Everything that's like, if you're not in the know or you're ignorant, it represents knowing, and it represents gaining knowledge, and something of that type of sense. So when we speak of the red pill community in modern day terms, we're not talking about the movie The Matrix, but we're talking about uh, being awoke or being aware to human nature, female nature, but human nature in general. So to be awoke to female nature and human nature is to say there's a false perception, a false reality that we've been programmed with, in not only in this country but in the world. There's a false perception of what life is and how it pertains to man interacting with women and being on dates, relationships, having sex, marriage, all that. There's a false perception of what's really taking place in that realm, you know, and why men don't understand women. They just so totally different from us. Why women can't understand men and what's really going on. How are so many people divorcing? How are so many, you know, so many guys that just don't understand, man, why won't she respond to my text message? Why won't she give me a call back when I call her? You know, why does she ghost me? You know, in all these different questions that men and women have for the opposite sex, these are based off of this false reality perception that they've been programmed with. The reason that they don't understand the answers to these questions, because they've been programmed from, it's like they've been living in the matrix their whole life, you know, and still in it. And this is why they don't understand why women act like this or why men act like that, and all men are jerks and all women are whores and all they want is money. And these negative views and negative stereotypes on men and women were created from this false reality of this matrix programming that we've been programmed with currently in this modern day system of society. So to be red pill aware is to be awoke from this false perception, this false system. Is to be aware and awoke from it. So if I say, hey, I'm in a red pill community, that means I don't operate as one who doesn't know why women do what they do, why they act the way they act. I'm not operating like someone who doesn't know about that. I'm operating as one who understands completely why they're doing what they're doing and why we're doing what we're doing in human nature, how it coexists. I understand fully because I've now been reprogrammed with the truth, with the true perception and the true reality of what life is concerning human nature. And so, I was deep down a rabbit hole for a long time. It took a while to get to the place where I'm at to become awoke and to become aware of what's really taking place and why it's taking place. So that's what the red pill community is all about. Now, and there's so many people that's in this community, but even though there's like a lot of people and it almost seems that it's saturated, it's still, it's still a lot of people. It's still a lot of people that understand it, but we're still the minority. It seemed like a lot of people. It seemed really saturated, but we're still the minority because majority of the world still lives currently in the matrix concerning men, the nature of man, concerning the nature of women, concerning human nature in general, how we coincide and, you know, all those different things. So this is what makes someone able to give advice, relationship advice, dating advice, marriage advice, because it's based off of human nature, scientific principle, you know, and this is why, because I'm gonna give you an example. If someone allows you to speak to them disrespectfully, that communicates that you can treat them however you want to treat them, and they will let you, and they won't stand up for themselves. And so you can continue to do it. Now, when you continue to do that and the other person doesn't stand up for themselves, that shows that other person doesn't value themselves. Because if that other person valued themselves, they will never allow you to do that. So this is just one example of being able to read people's behavior. If you're red pill aware, that means you're able to read behaviors. So you can tell someone who's red pill, you can tell them what your relationship was like, what your dating experience was like, and they can break it down to a T what went wrong and why it went wrong and what you need to do to solve it. And they can break it down to a T, whatever the problems and the issues are, and the solution, which is most important, getting to the solutions of the issues. And they're able to do that because they're red pill aware. They're able to look in between the lines of the false realities that most people been taught. They're able to understand and see the authenticity of real human nature that's taking place. So it's human nature that something that's given so easily won't be valued. So if a woman lets you sleep with her on the first night you met her, y'all go on a date, and she's mesmerized, whatever the case, and she lets you sleep with her the first night. Now, it's human nature that you won't value that woman. Why? Why won't you value that woman? Well, by her giving her virtue away, giving her herself away, in in that kind of way, on the very first night, without knowing you, without having an understanding of who you are, that says that she's in a place where she doesn't value herself, and she's kind of like desperate or insecure about herself, where it's like she'll take whatever she could get. Any guy who gives her a little piece of attention, she would just give her whole world to him. But why is that a bad thing? Why should women not do that? Because this man who you giving the whole world to, he can have bad intentions. His intentions could be to just have sex with you and to, rob you or stalk you or to take your money. He can have ill intentions towards you, and you will never know. You're just simply giving up everything, to him, just because he gave you some attention. So people can have negative motives, bad motives, and they can use and abuse you, all because they know how to. They can give you some attention, or they can pretend like they like you, and give you sweet compliments, and they could do these things, and that's all it took for you to put your guards down and to just give in and to let them just have you. Okay. And it's human nature that says, if a woman gives this away on the very first day, not knowing this person, that says she doesn't value herself. And the person will not value her because he sees she doesn't value her. So she doesn't respect her. So why should I respect her? If you don't value yourself, no one else will. And so we don't value things that come so easily. If she was to give it up that easy, that's too simple. Why would I cherish this when I can have it anytime I want? And I can have it at my beck and call at any time. So why would I value it? It's human nature that says we only value things that are rare and things that are uncommon. So if there's a woman who's playing hard to get, and it's a real chase, and there's like a real challenge, now that's rare. A real challenge is rare. So if I find that, I'm gonna value that, because you don't see that very often. So this is something that I'm gonna cherish this. You're not gonna run over it or just walk over it. You're gonna cherish it because it's not a common thing. But the things that are very common and very normal, and you see it all the time, is like, well, why would I want this? I can have this anytime I want. It's like having that toy on Christmas. You get the same toy on Christmas every year, and you just looking at it like, what is this? I mean, I see this all the time. This is nothing. I don't want this. You're going to be bored with it, compared to that new exotic toy that came out, and it took you 10 years to finally get it, to save up your money, to finally get this thing. They only sold it in certain countries. Now they finally sell it in your country, and you finally got it, and it took so long, and you've been anticipating it for so long. And it's like, oh my God, I finally got it. This is the best thing ever. You're going to cherish it. You won't get bored with it. You're going to cherish it because it was so rare. It was so hard to get. But if it's not rare, if it's not hard to get, if it's common, you won't cherish it. You won't value it. You will run over it and misuse it and abuse it. And that's what human nature says. And people who are red pill aware, we're able to understand human nature. we're able to look at it and to assess, okay, this and that. We're able to assess those things, and this is how we know. So that's what it means to be red pill aware. So, and this is why you have dating and relationship coaches. And I would say that are red pill. Some of them are halfway red pill, but there's a lot who are full blown red pill. And this is how they're able to answer your questions. They're able to know exactly what's going on in your relationship and why it went bad, because we pay attention to human nature, and we're obviously awoken. We're obviously aware, and that's how we know what we know. And this is how, and we also built experience from all the experiences we had in the past being ciphered through this filter, through this new filter that we have, living in the real reality and not the false perception of reality. So that's what it is to be red pill aware. And this is what this channel is all about, giving advice, relationship, dating, marriage. There's nothing in the realm of men and women that can't be answered. That's an anomaly that no one knows. No, someone does know, and you simply need to go to the experts, who know what they're doing. If you got a broken leg, do you have, some neighbor from down the street take care of it? No, you will go to the expert who understands that field, who has a experience in that field. You would go to the local hospital with the doctors who's been working in that portion of the hospital dealing with broken ligaments. They understand that field and they've been there for a long time, so they have it down packed. That's where you would go. You would go to the experts. So don't cheat yourself when it comes to your love life. Go to the experts, and that's who we are in the Red Pill community. So if you like the content in this video, I'd like you to please subscribe and share. And remember, love inspires, it endures, it uplifts, and bears all things. Peace.